Page 16, Daf Tezayin, day 15 of our study of Sotah. So we're continuing to read about how the water was given, and we're dissecting the Mishnah as the Talmud always does. So it says you have to put dirt on top of water. So the question is, what happens if there's no dirt? Are you allowed to put ashes? So the Gemara says, according to Beis Shammai, it's no question that ashes and dirt are two different things. According to Beis Hillel, who's of the opinion that when it comes to covering blood, when you slaughter a bird or a wild animal, you have to cover the blood with dirt. If you don't have dirt, you're allowed to use ashes. So the question is, here, does the same law apply or not? Do we say because it says Bekarka Mishkan, in the dirt of the Mishkan means it has to be specifically dirt? Or Bekarka Mishkan, in the floor of the Mishkan, is for what we said yesterday, it's used for different teachings that has to go into the floor of the Mishkan first. So we bring a very fascinating piece of Talmud. Rabbi Yochanan says, name of Rabbi Shmuel, there are three places where we find that halacha l'moshe misina, that the tradition of oral Torah sort of supplants what the Torah says explicitly. And what are the three places? The Torah says ba'afar. The Torah says that when it comes to covering blood, you have to do it with dirt. But the halacha, the law is that you're allowed to do it with everything, because the law is like Beis Hillel. You're allowed to use other things. The Torah says you're not allowed to cut here, facial hair, or the beard really, with a tar, with a razor. But the law is you're not allowed to cut with anything else. You're not allowed to really cut your hair as well. The Torah says you have to write a get, a divorce, b'sefer, in a book, like a paper. But the truth is, people write on a leaf and other things is also acceptable. So we see that the halacha, the accepted oral tradition, actually supplants the law. So if we want to say that here you're allowed to use ashes instead of dirt, why don't we include this as number 4? Because the Torah says you have to use dirt, but you're allowed to use ashes. So we see the law would supplant. The fact it doesn't say means that you're not allowed to use ashes. So the Gemara says, no. There's another thing that doesn't mention. This is not all of the situations. There's another thing. What is the thing? So the Gemara brings, related to Mitzvah, to the laws of leprosy. That we learned there, it says that'll be on the 7th day, you have to shave all your hair. So at the beginning of the final atonement for the leprosy, you have to shave your hair once, you wait 7 days, and then you have to shave it again. But in the second time, when the Thursday you have to shave hair, it goes into more detail. It says like this: you have to shave your hair, your beard, and your head, your beard, and your eyebrows. Then it says you have to shave your hair again. So we have what's called the klal, a prat, and a klal. A general statement, then we say detail which part of your hair you have to shave, and then it goes back to general saying you have to shave your hair. So the law is that we have a klal, a prat, a klal. This is one of the ways we're taught how to learn and interpret the Torah. That you go, ain b'klal masher prat. You have to include only the things that are similar to the detail. That's what Torah goes into detail. So just like the detail is talking about hairs, that is when there's a lot of hair in one place, not just one single hair somewhere, and it's seen, it's public, it's seen by the public generally. So too, only hair that is gathered many in a place, like you have your facial, you have your beard, you have your underarms, etc. But veneer only if it's able to be seen by other people. So what do we include? So we include the hair of the legs. What do we exclude? We exclude the underarms or other parts of your body which are hidden, because that you don't have to shave. But the law is, to oral tradition, the law is that you have to shave, even the second shaving, you have to shave your entire body, just like the first shaving. So the Torah seems like it tells us only part of your body, but yet we, in the case of Mitzvah, say you have to do more, and that's the way it's instituted. So there's another case. So maybe the same thing with Sotah. You can put in ashes, because here are these 3 that are mentioned, that the law supplants the halacha, would be is not necessarily only these 3. So Rab Nachum the Yitzchak said no, and the 3 ways the Gemara answers. One, he says, is this statement of Shmuel only includes things that are supplanting a clear statement in the Torah. But if supplants part of the oral tradition where the rabbis interpreted through the Torah, even though it still has the same validity as Torah itself, there we're not mentioning all the things where it says clearly in the verse one thing and we change it. That's one answer. Therefore, tzaras it doesn't bring in. Other thing he answers is Rav Papa says he only includes your things that supplant and change. Meaning the Torah says you have to do one thing, and here you have to do the opposite, or you do differently, less than what the Torah says, or differently what the Torah says. But here by Mitzayra, but here it's you're adding, meaning you're adding more to what the Torah says. So what does the Rashi say? What do you mean you're adding more to what the Torah says? So he says, see here we're saying that you have to add more. Meaning in the Torah it's saying only you have to do these three things. But the klal of prat klal, we're adding more. You say you have to do even more than what the Torah says clearly inside, but you have to do even more. And that we're not including. We're only including where it says you have to do less. Rav Ashi says actually that our Mishnah is Rabbi Yishmael. And Rabbi Yishmael is of a different opinion than what we mentioned here. Rabbi Yishmael learns the Torah not klal uprat klal, meaning general detail in general, but he learns ribuya miyuta. He learns in a way of you're adding and you're subtracting. And there they read a little differently. The fact that the Torah writes general, then Torah details, and the Torah writes general again. So what is he trying to say? So the way he learns it is that you have to do everything. You have to, meaning even in the Torah, not that the rabbi said you have to do everything. The Torah, the fact that at the end, the Torah's Marba says again general, that means it includes everything that was excluded before. So really, from the Torah, we know that a Mitzvah in the second time, 7 days, then of the 7 days, he has to shave everything. So what is the Torah being limiting when it tells us some details? It's only limiting the hair in your nose. That's all it's limiting. So that's what the Torah tells us, the limitation, just to try to teach us the hair in the nose is limited, everything else is the same. So therefore, we did not leave over Mitzvah. So there's no proof that this statement of Yishmael, where he says three things, is more than three. It's only three. So how come it doesn't say Afer? How come we don't include in these that Afer is good? So there must be that Afer, that ashes is not good. So Gemara says, we learn clearly that it says if there's no dirt, you're allowed to bring the remains of the rotted vegetables, whatever remains, you're allowed to use. So shouldn't that be like Afer, like dashes as well? You can bring other things. Gemara says no. Because plants grow in the ground, whatever remains and gets rotten and becomes little particles, it's also considered like dirt. So therefore, from here we know that afer is not allowed to be used, ash is not allowed to be used, only dirt itself is allowed to be used. Then we say, so it should be seen on the water. So now we have a discussion. There are three things that the dirt has to be seen within the water. You don't mix it like that. The dirt has to be seen within the water. It almost has to be floating on top of the water. One is the dirt of a Sotah. The other one is the ashes of a para where you mix it with water and then you sprinkle on the person. The ashes have to be seen, can't just be mixed in very well. The other one is the spit of a yavama, the spit from a woman who's going through the process. We're supposed to get married as a levirate marriage, meaning when if her husband, God forbid, died when they didn't have any children, she's supposed to marry the brother. But if she doesn't want to marry the brother, he doesn't want to marry her, at that point, she goes through a process of chalitza, of separating, and that process of chalitza, she has to spit on the shoe. She has to spit towards him, and that spit has to be seen very clearly. So Rabbi Shmuel said, even dam tzipor, Even the blood, we're talking about a leper, where you have to mix into the water, you have to take the one bird that's slaughtered, the blood has to be seen in the water. There also, he says, the blood has to be seen, it can't be mixed. Where does Rabbi Shmuel know this? Because it says that you should dip the hyssop, the cedar branch, and the scarlet thread. You should dip it into the blood of the bird. So we learn that you have to dip it into the blood. But on the other hand, it says you have to dip it into the water. So how do you do it? So you have to have water and blood, but the blood and the water have to be sort of separate within the same thing. The blood has to be seen on top of the water. The rabbis say no. The rabbis say that we don't have any extra words. The Gemara goes back and forth in the discussion, but they don't necessarily have to be seen. It could have to be put in after. It doesn't necessarily have to be seen and separated, and it's enough that they're mixed together. Now the Gemara says another situation. What happens if you have such a big bird that there's so much blood you don't even see any water in there? It looks all like blood. Or you have a small bird, you can't even see the blood. The water outweighs the blood. So is it considered like the water and the blood are mixed together in the law of Mitzayra, of leprosy? So the Gemara said something interesting. Rav Zera said, don't ask me these types of questions. When the rabbis made their laws, they talked to the average. The average free bird is one that the blood can be seen, maybe a little more, a little less blood, but it can be seen finally in the water and doesn't overwhelm the water. And that's in general in the Talmud and the Torah. The rabbis talk to the general, not to the extreme. That's how the laws are built. Then we learn a new piece. The rabbi said, what happens? You said you're supposed to put in water and then you put dirt in the water. What happens if you put dirt before the water? The rabbis say it's puzzle, it's not good. Rabbi Shimon says it's fine. What's the reason of Rabbi Shimon that he said it's fine? Because it says you should take for the one who's tamei. When it comes to the law of paraduma, of the red heifer, that you mix the ashes with water and then you sprinkle on the person who became tamei by the corpse, it says you should take for the one who's tamei from the dirt of the burnt sin offering, the paraduma. So Rav Shimon said it's not afar, it's not dirt, it's ashes. So why did the Torah write dirt? So obviously he's trying to teach us something. It says dirt there, and it says dirt by Sotah. So just like dirt there by the pardon, by the red heifer, is dirt first goes the water, then goes the dirt or the ashes. And so too here, the water goes, there's dirt and water. But just like by paraduma, it doesn't make a difference which one you put first. As long as they're both in there, it's fine. So also here, by Sotah, whatever goes first is fine. How do we know that by paraduma, by the red heifer, doesn't make a difference if you put in water first or the ashes or the ashes first? Because it says olive. It says you have to put the ashes in the water. But then it says it says I'll put the water in the ashes. Then it says in another verse you have to put the water in the vessel. So meaning the Torah is not careful. Whether you put the water first, you put the ashes first, it's fine. But the rabbis say, it says al-keli, it says by the red heifer, you have to put the water into the vessel. So there the Torah is saying specifically. What does it mean, Allah, when it says the extra word, you have to put the water on top of it? It just means that you have to mix it. You have to mix it. And just like here by Sotah, it says water first and then dirt, so too there, according to the rabbis, it has to be exactly that order. This is the end of page 16. Until the next time, have a great day.